I'm Keshav. I've been working on Oracle BPM, and earlier I worked with Oracle SOA and EDF technologies. And also I have an idea about Oracle BPM. So I'll be discussing about Oracle BPM. This is a given picture, and I'll be demonstrating at the high level architecture and the high level information about Oracle BPM. Am I audible, right?
Keshav, could you talk close to the mic?
Yeah. How is it? Is it fine? Hello?
It is not as clear as Rajesh. You know, when you Rajesh. Yeah.
Maybe I'll speak louder.
Your instrument.
As I said, like I'm Keshav. As you know, I've been working on Oracle BPM. Earlier to that, when I worked on Oracle SOA and also Oracle EBS technologies. So currently, I'll be discussing about Oracle BPM at the high-level architecture. As it's the first day, we'll be look at what's the Oracle BPM architecture and what is Oracle BPM, how it is used, and all. So let me start my presentation. Now is it now is audible, right?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it is good. You could unmute. Mute our all this our microphones so that it will be clear.
Rajesh, can you do that?
Everyone is on mute. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you. So today's our agenda will goes like this. Like what is meant by business process, what is business process management, and what is BPM lifecycle, and what are the BPM standards, BPM tools what you have been using, and the benefits of using BPM, and we'll discuss about architecture, and also we'll discuss about what are the designing tools. We will cover a little bit today, and maybe in the next sessions we'll see more what are the designing tools. Like in every organization, it has its own business. Like they will run their business in their unique way. So we can say a business. So business is executed as a process. So every business has their own process they have built, and that we can define as it's a collection of related and structured activities. If you need an example, like we'll discuss. I can tell you as a general example. Everybody will have our own vehicles. So in general, in quarterly or yearly, we'll go for a service center. So what we'll do? So the service center have the process of doing a service for our vehicle. We submit our vehicle to the service center. They'll collect the details. What is our bike or what is our vehicle, and what's the number, and what are all the problems we have, and based on that they'll send to it the worker, daily labor. They'll do their work, and if anything has to do more than what we said, like we might be telling only the general servicing is fine. So let's say there is a problem with the shock abs. He'll inform to the their corresponding team, and they'll call us, and we'll discuss with them, and we'll tell them whether this is to be worked or not, and later they'll send an information our bike is available for taking, and we'll go there and we'll do a payment, and we'll collect the bike. So it's a series of process, like it's a series of activities. There is an activity to collect the data from us, and there is an activity done by the daily labor for servicing, and there is a activity for the payment, there is an activity for the collection. So this is, we can say, the business process. Like everybody has their own business process. Now what is business process management? So the business process management, every organization, as I said, every organization has their own business, and at the same time they'll focus on how to improve their business process. Let's say if there is any chance in changing their process. In the earlier example we discussed, at one place they have to inform about the vehicle collection. They might be calling it through phone. Maybe they are willing to add one more feature, like irrespective of like whether to why to call, then we can send a message. So it's a business process change. So management, business process management is it's handling the business process changes and applying like how we are managing, how we are evaluating this. So mainly the business process changes are required for the organization in order to improve their process, in order to improve their profit levels. That means they might be reducing the costs. They might have follow a process to complete this with minimal costs, like that. So the business process management is a science. It's a science of change and implement and doing optimum work. So we can say business process management as a methodology for measuring, managing, and executing and optimizing the business process. Here we can see a simple diagram which is an employee assignment. So there is a business process, it has been defined. Once an employee has assigned, if you see, we have start of this process. There is employee has been assigned. In employee assignment, it will go to an approval, maybe at HR level. If they will approve, then employee assignment is complete. If they are not approved, they might require some other information needs to be provided by the assignee who is doing. So they'll simply reject and they'll come back to the approval and it will complete. So it's a simple business process. This is which is developed in Oracle BPM. So before, as I said, business process management, it's a continuous change. So continuous process management. So every time if there is a change in the process, we need to evaluate it. So even the BPM has a life cycle for it. So we are going to discuss about this life cycle. Now, so BPM. Okay, can someone mute? Can someone mute? Yeah, thank you. So BPM has its own life cycle. Whenever a change in the business process, so actually there is we should define the process. So defining the process is happening at the model. So the cycle starts with the model, and there is an implementation of that model, and there is an execution of what we have implemented. And once we have executed, we're going to test, and we're going to set the metrics. We should see the metrics, how this is performing, and we should check whether there is a change, whether there is an optimization of this process. And obviously there will be other changes will happen, so that will start with again a model. So it's a continuous process. If BPM lifecycle is a continuous process of changing your BPM models, like BPM processes. So it's so like as I said, modeling is modeling of your components at BPM. So the components, like what is the process and what all the activities has been defined, and what are all the rules we need to follow in order to process that, and everything needs to be modeled. And at the implementation, the actual BPM implementation will come into the picture at this level. So what exactly that activity definition, and what exactly the conditionals, like the rules and everything, and also process definition as a complete process definition will be implemented at BPM. And execution of the BPM process. That means the BPM needs to be deployed at somewhere, and we are going to work on that. And monitoring, we need to find out the metrics and how it is performing. and we need to calculate the KPIs like key performance indicators like that, and we're going to optimize that based on the information what we have gathered, and is there anything needs to be optimized. So we'll go for optimization. So it's a continuous process of this life cycle. Next, we'll discuss about BPM standards. So what means by standards? So we know, like we are going to discuss about Oracle BPM, but apart from Oracle BPM, we have plenty of other vendors who is providing the BPM. So there is an IBM BPM. Where IBM has developed a BPM, and every other vendors, like we have multiple vendors who have their own BPM technology implemented. So in order to define a BPM technology, there should be a standard defined at higher level. So Oracle there is an OMG consortium, that is, as you know, object management group. There is a consortium. They'll be defining what BPM should have and how this will be implemented if everybody is implementing. So if you see the diagram in the BPM standards, you will see the graphical standards of BPM, like graphical standards, and there is an interchange standards, and there is an execution standard should have, and also there is an diagnostic standards. So what is graphical standards? So what is the main advantage of Oracle BPM, or whatever the BPM is? We are going to depict the process in a pictorial way. So we have an availability to draw a diagram for a process. Some of you know about SOA. SOA and BPL. The BPL is completely an execution process, it's completely an orchestration process. But whereas BPM, it can easily understand it by business administrators. So business administrator can see easily, and they'll understand it, what the process is happening, and how the flow is going. So graphical standards will define the graphical components, the standards for graphical components. Here, Oracle BPM follows like BPMN standards, business process management notation. This notation like in order to create a processes, in order to create activities, in order to create human tasks and everything, they should have a notation needs to be followed. So it's a graphical representation of
one question.
Yep.
So the first one, the graphical standards, the users itself be able to create the graphical standards, or they need technical person?
Yes, here we can have the administrator, like business users can also, like business user in the sense BA, business administrator. He can understand. Business analyst. So business analyst will do. He can also do define the process. So BPM has provided this standard for for defining the process models. So it's simply a modeling of your process. And there is an interchange standards. So what is an interchange standards? As I said, there are multiple BPMs are available in our market. One is Oracle BPM and another is IBM BPM. So whoever is implementing this Oracle BPM technology, they should also provide the ability to exchange the data of the processes from one BPM to another BPM. So this is XPDL XML process definition language. So this has been implemented in Oracle BPM also. So where we can extract the process definitions, and that can be used in another BPM process. So it's completely inbuilt behavior which every BPM should have. And execution standards is this means, as discussed, the BPMN is for graphical representation, mostly about the modeling of the processes, but the execution of the process will come at execution standards level. So here BPL business process execution language will more focus on the execution of the processes rather than graphical representation. So in turn, BPL will be used. BPL standards are followed for orchestrating the processes or executing the processes of BPM activities. Okay, and the diagnostic standard.
One question in Keshav.
Yep.
One question in interchange standard. If we create a process in Oracle BPM,
yep.
Can we import or can we use that same process in IBM BPM?
Yes, there is a feasibility that should be. Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, we
don't
have
need
a feasibility
to do any
that.
alteration on that.
Yeah, right now I can tell you one thing. We can export the BPM process, like BPM project, and which can be supported for other applications like other BPMs. There is a feasibility we have at Oracle BPM level. So I did not touch directly what IBM, how to import that. So I'll show you in the coming sessions what exactly this means. So there is a feasibility actually. Okay, and
okay.
Yeah, in diagnostic standards, this is more about at administrator level. So whenever we have the process has been deployed and BPM has been deployed and there have been executions, we should identify. Yeah, we should monitor the exact processes. So diagnostic standards will define the administrative capabilities, like there we can have a metrics and we can have the complete process trace, and we can also have at the query level business process query language, which BPQL will provide. Like we can check it in the database where Oracle BPM Oracle BPM faults and instances will be created. So we can say like this complete standard will be helpful for the start at the business analyst level to an administrative level and at the developer. So it involves its major advantage of BPM is to involve the different people at a time, like at one place, in order to reduce the confusion on preparing the processes and defining the business process.
It is for technical administration or it is for functional administration?
It's more about technical administration. Yeah, as I said, we have an administrative function. Sorry?
Yeah, I have a question, just a question. So, in your organization, suppose, do you think any organization will have multiple BPMs?
No.
That's what, what is the purpose? I mean, of course, there will be standards everybody should follow. That way the communication or exchange of the, the information would be helpful. But in real life, do you think any organization, they would use IBM BPM, Oracle BPM and XYZ or BPMs? Normally they will stick with one, right?
I'll answer your question. Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you an example. Like if there is a feasibility, like where an organization is looking at the cost level at buying the project. Let's say the Oracle is selling all this software at $1,000, and let's say IBM is trying to provide at $500. At the organization level, what they'll think, they'll try to minimize their cost. They'll try to feasible. Yeah, they'll choose their opportunities to improve their organization level. So,
agree.
So, yep.
You are going to stick with one, right?
Yeah, as I said, if the organization or if the IT analyst, as I said, we have a matrix to calculate the cost at the process level also, right? Okay. If the organization is decided to move their process from Oracle to IBM, and there should be. Okay. So I'm just talking about the higher level.
Okay, good.
Right?
Okay.
I answered your question, right?
Fine. Yeah, go ahead. With the, it's a basic question. You can you have to can go ahead with that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so in Oracle BPM, like what all we have, what all the tools we have existing, what are all the different components we have in BPM. So there are, as we have been discussing the graphical standards and administrative standards and all. So what exactly BPM is implemented here. So the graphical, we discussed about graphical standards, right? This is main about modeling the components. So if you observe, like I'm coming from the standards to what BPM is, Oracle BPM has been implemented. So you can correlate exactly. So process definition. So process definition tools. Oracle BPM has defined the process definition tools for modeling the business processes. So modeling the business processes means creating the business processes. So we have, in the process definition we have, we have so JDeveloper and also Process Composer, which is a web-based application which can be accessed from anywhere. So there is a JDeveloper which needs to be installed in the own system, but when there is a need for the business analyst has to access to this process, we have a feasibility at a web application. So process definition that is Composer, which is a process definition tool, one of the process definition tools, and process simulation tool. This process simulation, what simulation means? It exactly identifies the cost of the process activities and the time frame, how much it is taking to complete, and the time interval. So we can evaluate, as I said, we can calculate the cost of an activity is being performed. So there have been process simulation tools have been defined, and also application development tools. So once the process has been defined, that needs to be created, right? So we have process application development tools in order to complete the business process, and there is a component in Oracle BPM like workflow engine, workflow and rules engine, which are exist in BPM runtime. So BPM runtime will have this workflow engine and rule server. What workflow engine is, it will orchestrate the process, like it will start the process and execute the process in a flow. And rule server, there is a business rules have been defined that BPM, let's say if the process has to be navigated from one flow to another flow, or if there is any conditional flows has to be defined, that needs to create a rule. So we have a very good rules, business rules has been we can create in BPM. That is a very good tool, and they have been adding some features in the next generation. And the process execution and user interface. The process execution is completely, it's a BPM runtime. We discussed like BPL components, like execution standards. This BPL will sit under the BPM, and like BPM is built on top of BPL, so which all actual execution of the process will perform. And these are process management tools. In the process management tools, we have an administrative capabilities at the business BPM processes, where you can check who is the business process owner and the business process activity, like performer and the approver and all, and also the system administration level. You can see the flow trace of an instance, and also if there is any faults have been occurred, there is a feasibility to check everything. So system administrator, like system administration has been exist in BPM. So there are like we can see all this in a working environment. Today we'll be discussing more about the and conceptual level. We'll be going to discuss in the next sessions what are all these. So like as we have been discussing what BPM process and what is the what it's been happening, it's a continuous process change and everything. So what the high level benefit at the BPM? There have been some calculations at organizations how much they have productive and how much they have improved their costs, and also how much they have incurred their profits. So there have been calculations for some of the organizations. Here I will be going to define benefits, which will increase the process efficiency and productivity as we are involving the business analysts to look at we see what exact process, what the business analyst is expecting, what the developer we are going to remove the confusion between both the developer and analyst. So as I said, it has a feasibility to change in the BPM process. So it's a continuous business improvement. If there is a business change, there is a simple that we can change the BPM in a simple steps rather than an application. If you see an application level, there might be plenty of dependencies we have to identify, whereas in the BPM it will reduce all those dependencies. It's a continuous process improvement. It's a and improves the process quality and the consistency, and it also improves the cost reduction, which is every organization look at, well, and also increase the customer satisfaction. Like will be see what exactly the process is happening and where exactly it is sitting, so the customer will come to know where it is. So we'll be interacting, like it will be helpful for the customer. Like it's all yeah, it's an interrelated. So there is a dependency, like we can the customer involvement, as I said, informing the users, and there is a better reporting performance, like better reporting performance as we have been discussing about the metrics. So there is a business from BPM process will identify the metrics where should be happen and the KPIs, and that will be helpful for organizations to see reports. And architecture, it's a BPM architecture. If you can see, like we have been discussing about execution standards and all, and we'll see how they have been implemented here. What is BPM core architecture? Here you can identify, like you can see, as a repository, that is unified repository. It's a database which will holds all the design time of your BPM and also the runtime of your BPMs. Like in design time, which is a modeling techniques, and the model also participate, like simulation also is a part of modeling. Like what is we need to define the cost and time of each and activity. So the design time, all these we do process, and so this modeling is helpful for the analytics. So as I said, the simulation, this is also helpful at the analytics, and at the other side of it, it's a runtime. It's a BPM. So it's a runtime. So runtime will have all the execution components and also all the business processes what we have been modeled and will be going to execute these business processes. And there is a component for human workflow, like even we have the human workflow at BPL, so where the human interaction is being required. So we should provide a human interaction. So we should be having a human workflow. And service orchestration, which is a BPL, which is we have in BPL also. So orchestration of a service, which is BPM runtime will take care. And business rules, we have discussed. There is a rules engine have been existing in BPM runtime, and also we have the events and also timers and also fault handlings. And the administration we have defined. We are going to monitor all these components, and there is a security defined at all these levels. So this is like mostly how this will be executed by executing the analytics or by executing the processes. So this is the UAE level, and this is a BPM, like business process management, and there are third parties which are going to involve in this BPM, and how they are going to involve. Like there is service like SOA, like we have a SOA SOA components like service discovery and web services and all web service technologies. This is complete business process management architecture level, and in the next we'll see the architecture of a SOA. So some of you have an idea of what is SOA and BPL, and the main objective of defining here the SOA is BPM is it's BPL plus BPM. So BPM is nothing but having BPL features plus some extra features is a BPM. So if you see, you can see here like a metadata repository, which is a database, like we can call it as a metadata repository, and we have a SOA runtime, and we have the third-party applications which are going to interact, and there should be like some web services, or there might be Oracle Service Bus, which is a complete other the technology which interact with the different web services and different service-oriented components. So we can also see this development tool. We have discussed some development tools. This is JDeveloper. We'll create some composites. As you know, the BPL composites will develop in JDeveloper and will deploy, and those sit on SOA MDS. And there is B2B applications have been interact, like business to business interaction, and we have Oracle BAM. It's a completely reporting purpose. So reporting purpose, so which will accept the metrics of these components, and also EM console. This is an administrative component where we are going to monitor all these components, and also we can trace the flows and all. So SOA runtime, as some of you might know, like so SOA runtime is like SOA composite application will be deployed on top of Oracle WebLogic Server. So there will be Oracle WebLogic Server underneath, and there will be SOA composite applications. So SOA software, SOA runtime, like as a process core which will execute the BPL processes, and there is a human intervention required. Like we see where we'll see where the human intervention is required and how this is being implemented, and also is discussed business rules. So this the BPL component. So we'll see in the next slide. Oracle BPM is where it is sitting on top of Oracle SOA. So it's a BPM layered over SOA suite. So if you observe, there is a slight change in the Oracle BPM runtime. Like here earlier we have SOA runtime. Now we have Oracle BPM runtime because there is a BPM and engine has to be exist. So Oracle WebLogic Server will be as this, and the SOA composite application is as this, and all BPM engine process core. In the process core, along with the BPL, we have BPM engine. And if you observe, we discussed like the process composer is newly added, along with which is not existing in SOA. So BPM is one of the advantages. It's a web-based tool where analyst, like any person who is not available with this, their developer can access from there. And we have seen enterprise console, and there is a workspace. So we discussed about human interventions. So there is a BPM workspace. There also we can have some views. Like we will be going to discuss views like in the BPM we'll be having BPM human tasks. So who is having and what they are running, and how the time is taking. We can also we can also see at the BPM workspace level. So this is also part of monitoring and also execution of human tasks. And process spaces, this is also this will come with Oracle Web Center. So in the Web Center we have a feasibility to integrate with Oracle BPM engine, BPM. So there we can add this. So this comes with the Oracle Web Center, as we have seen Oracle BAM and also all these components. I think if you see at the architecture from the starting at the higher level of BPM to how they have been implemented on top of SOVA, you can understand it, the basic diagrams. So as I said, like I would like to show you something, how the BPM tools will exist. Anyhow, we are going to discuss more about this and we are going to work on this in the later sessions. And this is a JDeveloper. Some of you have been seen. If you see the JDeveloper, which is something different than the BPL process. So it's a BPMN process, which is nothing but a role. We'll be discussing more about this. And here we are going to define the BPM process. And this is the application navigator. You can see when you have created projects and what are all the projects and what are all the components exist in this. And also we have a BPM project navigator along with the application navigator. So BPM project navigator, which completely deals with the BPM projects. Here we can have the other model components and application module. I think some of you have worked on ADF, so we have model components, view layer components. So completely application navigator will hold this, and BPM project navigator is completely for BPM projects. And we said Composer, this is a web-based tool. If you observe, this is been accessing from the browser. Here we create JDeveloper, we create BPM projects in the similar way. We have a feasibility to create the projects, and we can also update this project, and we can also deploy directly to the server from here itself. And we can see discuss more about this. Simply what is want by means who you have created, and the shared with me means like which is somebody has been developed and they might have to share with you, and we can see all this here. This is completely about the development tools, and I think like I'm all set. Will be in the coming sessions we'll be going to discuss more about these development tools and what is this Composer, what it has, and what is the JDeveloper, and what are the existing components it has, and also we need to discuss about the deployment, installation process, and what are the requirements need to install and everything. And let's go on like the BPM process. We'll see in the later sessions. I think I'm done with this presentation for this day one.
Keshav, question?
Yeah.
So in SOVA there is a human workflow is there, and BPM is basically a human workflow, right? So
yes.
It is in the bigger, I mean in large scale probably, but so why do you need it? In which context you use BPM, which context you use human workflow in SOVA?
Yeah, as I said, like BPM, which more interacts with the different people, whereas in BPL, understanding to a developer isn't easy, but at the understanding at the higher level. And one more, this completely, as we discussed at the in the standards. So BPL is completely the orchestration of a BPL process, like it's completely execution. Wherever we need, we'll use workflows like human workflows, and here more of the BPM, more of the we'll see the human workflows, and we'll see less, like not less, we'll see at the bottom level the BPL processes, like at the execution levels. So it's a more advantage. It's a user friendly for both the developers and the analysts, right?
So that is, so your answer is, okay, if an organization, they already have a SOA and they have a, human workflow process, right? They could develop human workflow process. So only the compelling reason to go for a BPM is for an EC development, fast development. That is the only reason.
Yes, it's fast development, and we have the feasibility to monitor at the user interface level, like not only at the administrator, at the user task level.
So how long you are working in
yeah.
How long you are working in BPM?
Yeah, I've been working from 4 years.
4 years. Okay. So have you worked? I mean, I know that in BPM there is a ADF part is coming, right, where you could modify the forms and all, right?
Yes, yes.
So in your,
wherever the human intervention is required, we might that depends. We might be using ADF or some other. So mostly we'll be using ADF because Oracle is suggesting us. It's which more recommended. So I think we are going to see where ADF will come into picture.
okay.
But might not all the ADF components I'm going to discuss, because ADF is completely another technology. We'll see where exactly the ADF is coming to picture.
So Keshav, you will cover ACM interaction also?
Sorry?
So you will cover both VPN and ACM interaction, like adaptive case management? I guess in BPM 11G there is a feature ACM.
SCM, can you come again?
Yeah.
SCM.
Adaptive case management.
Yeah. Here we are not going to. I think we are not going to discuss about that. We'll see. If we can. I think the session is we have not included, but we'll see. We'll come back to you. Thank you.
Keshav, I have another question. So in your course, are you going to show how to call a BPM from a ADF application, and and how to call the services and all?
Yeah, for this right now, like I think Rajesh will share you. I think you have some questions about the concept and all what we are going to discuss. So I think
I'm interested on, first of all, I need the full course agenda.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
First
I can
thing.
say.
Second thing, I want to know how to call a BPM process from a ADF. So are you going to do that, or it is not included, or you have a plan to include?
Right now, we are not having a plan, but if the time fits, I'll show you, because there is nothing much than the BPL process. Like, so if you have worked on the web service control, like service control with ADF, web service control ADF, that is more than enough. I think what web service is providing, like BPM also provides a web service that you need to integrate with ADF. So there is nothing great magic, nothing great techniques needs to be used for interacting with the BPM from other applications, like what you do to invoke web service.
Okay, basically BPM is a web service, so any web service can be pluggable to any technology. That is what you are trying to say, right?
Yeah, I can tell you another point, like, and all these WebLogic, like all these SOA components are built on top of SOA technology, right? So it's exposes services. I think if we talk about the service-oriented architecture, we have exposed the services. and also UDDI, which is a repository, and also the consumers of a service.
Okay.
So every SOA architecture component should have these capabilities. So the BPM also provides that. So I'll show you where at which situation we can have that feasibility and which situation we are not. We're also going to discuss about that, because some of the components that might not available for exposing the services. I'll also show you. So where at that time how we need to handle that, and we can also discuss about that. So this is nothing great, like ADF interacting with the BPM is nothing great. It's just simply a web service.
We are calling a service, exactly. Okay.
Exactly.
I understand that.
Sure. So any other questions? Ravi, Rukmana,
Yeah.
Soeb?
If you have any other question, like you please you can contact with the forum. So I think I'm done with my side.
One more question. Okay, so one question.
Yep.
So are you going to cover all the business rules? How to use business rules in this?
Yep. Sure.
So all the interaction, like how can we create roles? How can we integrate
Yes,
LDAP and all like that?
Yeah, exactly. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see everything. I think I'm running short of time. I have to jump on to another call. I have.
Sure, not issue. Keshav, you can just drop off. If you have guys any questions, I have everyone's contact details, so I'll maybe get in touch with you guys and then we'll take it forward from here.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks Murli, Ravi, Sajid, Soeb and Rukmana for attending, and thanks Keshav for a nice and